How do you feel about these two courses if you've taken them? And if you're an instructor, do you think that students perceive one to be more difficult than the other? Now, this is ultimately subjective, but I'm going to present two bits of data that give objective reasons why one might be easier than the other, and I want to give both sides their fair chance. My take is that I always thought real analysis was a little bit easier because we had a lot of wiggle room because we dealt with inequalities. We never had to show something was equal to zero. We just had to show it was close to zero, say if we're measuring convergence. Abstract algebra, on the other hand, was exact. If things were equal, there was no room for error. Now, I became an algebraist. I love the algebra more, but I did think that analysis was easier for the reason pointed here. However, after teaching analysis a lot, I think the reason that most students find analysis harder is that logically the things you study are just more complex. For instance, the main functions you study in an algebra class is something called a homomorphism, and the definition is what you see there in pink. It says for all x, for all y, something is true. That involves two variables, and maybe that's slightly complicated. But in analysis, you have this monster down here with four different quantifiers and some pretty complicated if-then statement below. And it's not just once or twice that this happens in analysis. This happens all the time. Now, you might accuse me of doing apples versus oranges. I know there are going to be statements in abstract algebra that are equally complicated, but I want to know your thoughts overall if you think this characterization is true. But generally, just let me know what course you liked more and what you loved about it.